And it's very easy, and I'm sure we have people, every one of us in this room is probably somebody involved somewhere on that chain in one of these ecosystems, okay? And our ecosystem is complex and it consumes our mind, but we get very focused on our own ecosystem. So if we're the producer, we get very focused on what to grow, how do I get the best price, how do I get the best yield, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm the processor, it's what's coming into my building, how do I get it out the door fast enough, what price am I gonna purchase it at? We're not necessarily always thinking about the ecosystem beside us on either side or in front of us. And what I wanted to introduce today is that these ecosystems are actually very interconnected. Let's think of an example. If producers don't have visibility downstream demand, they hedge. They hold inventory, they delay decisions, they produce defensively. I've sat across producers all the time talking about when they're gonna sell their inventory based on pricing and trying to predict what the demand will be. Processors facing uncertainty upstream will build buffers of their own and deal with potential inventory shortages. And then retailers respond to shortages with short-term procurement decisions. Each person, I shouldn't call them persons, but each person along that chain is its own ecosystem, making decisions based on what's within their own ecosystem. And none of those actions are actually irrational, but collectively they create inefficiency, waste, and fragility. Resilience improves when information, incentives, and planning horizons align across all ecosystems. When signals flow both ways, the system becomes more adaptive. And this is why resilience cannot be built in silos. The ecosystems need to speak to each other. In one part of the system optimizes purely for itself, risk doesn't disappear. It just moves to another ecosystem. And we're not providing value to the entire food chain or the food system. And ultimately, we want to make sure every ecosystem along the entire chain is successful. So basically, we're talking about collaboration. And I love the word collaboration, and we use it a lot in business, right? And no matter what type of business you work in. And oftentimes, or not oftentimes, but lots of times, collaboration could be used as a dirty word because it prevents competition. And hey, I'm excited about competition. I'm in business. I love the idea of competition. Competition drives innovation, efficiency, and consumer value. And that doesn't need to go away when you collaborate. But resilience, especially infrastructure resilience, often requires collaboration. Think about shared logistics, shared warehousing, shared cold storage, or joint infrastructure investment. Individually, these investments can be hard to justify for one organization to take on their own. But collectively, they can unlock flexibility in the entire system and help benefit every ecosystem. And why does it work? Because it lowers costs, it accelerates adoption, and it spreads risk. The agribusiness sector has always used collaboration to drive success. We have for decades. Think about all the cooperatives that exist. Agribusiness is one of those unique industries where there are lots of cooperatives, where farmers and producers have collaborated together to gain benefits for all of them. Think about the joint ventures we're starting to see. Producers getting together to make investment in infrastructure like logistic terminals, water systems, et cetera. Collaboration is part of what we do in agribusiness, but we need to keep investing in that and keep driving that forward. And it's this collaboration why resilience differs from efficiency. Efficiency asks, how do I minimize my own costs? If I'm gonna build an efficient operation, I'm looking at my own costs and what can I do to minimize that? But resilience asks, how do we reduce shared vulnerability? How do we help everybody in every ecosystem? That's a fundamentally different question, and it requires trust, which is built over time. I get it, and it's hard to do.